The people working there were nothing but kind and lovely and welcoming, like straight over to us with a big smile, and you know, like that southern drawl. Like the lady was calling me baby, and I was like, oh my gosh. And they were really friendly serving us, and then we were ordering desserts and we were talking about the desserts. And then
he bought us dinner the other day. We were at Quincy Market, and he was just like, "You're Scottish. Love the fact that you're in the city."
He bought you guys dinner?
Yeah, bought all of our dinners. We went to pay, and the guy was like, "No, it's already been paid for."
They came for the World Cup carrying flags, tickets, and years of frightening headlines about America. Then strangers offered rides, shared meals, gave directions, and refused to leave them stranded. What happens when the country you were taught to fear becomes the place that makes you feel safest? These European fans did not return home talking only about football. They returned with emotional stories that forced them to ask whether they had ever truly known America at all. America. They never expected for years. Many Europeans arrived in America carrying a suitcase in one hand and a collection of warnings in the other. The news had taught them to expect danger on every corner, suspicion behind every smile, and a country so divided that asking a stranger for help might feel like visiting the DMV without an appointment. Then the World Cup brought them here, tired, lost, jet-lagged, and completely unprepared for the people they actually met.
I've got to say something. America, I have to say this. I'm currently in Michigan in the Midwest. Midwestern people are some of the nicest people I've ever met. They're just waving at me. Everyone is so nice in the Midwest.
So I literally just complimented someone's bunny ears on the street and they gave them to me. That's how nice people are in America. It's so cute.
One thing I love about Americans, you guys hold the door for everyone. At first I was like, why are people so nice to me? Because people would like stand so far away and just wait on me.
I did not realize that I loved this about the US until I left it. I'm an American living abroad. This is the second country that I've lived in. And when I tell you guys, American kindness is real.
What changed their minds was not a monument, a stadium, or some polished tourism commercial. It was the ordinary American who stopped what they were doing and helped. Someone gave directions without acting annoyed. Someone offered a ride when public transportation became confusing. Someone made sure a visitor reached the correct gate, found the right hotel, or understood the menu before accidentally ordering enough food to feed an entire tailgate. These were small gestures, yet they carried more weight than years of dramatic headlines. That contrast matters because daily life in much of Europe can feel more private. On the London Underground, people often protect their personal space with the discipline of Buckingham Palace guards. In Paris, asking for help usually begins with a proper bonjour, because courtesy has its own choreography. In Helsinki, silence can be warm, respectful, and completely normal. None of these customs are unfriendly, but they teach people to expect a little distance from strangers.
And I would never think to say anything to them. They're having fun, and I think most Americans would just leave everyone be. Just, you know, what's the harm in them doing that? It's part of their experience, and this is what they want to do.
America often works with a different volume setting. A cashier may ask where you're from, a family nearby may recommend 3 restaurants, and someone you met 5 minutes ago may start explaining which highway lane will save you 20 minutes. By European standards, it can feel as though the entire country has volunteered to become your slightly over-enthusiastic cousin. Somehow, that is exactly why many visitors begin relaxing.
I think everyone could learn a thing or two from Americans. I was just walking in Soho and this guy came running around the corner and he was like, "Excuse me, you have great cheekbones, I hope you have a great day," and then just walked off. Like, not hitting on me, just was like, just need to let you know.
The kindness feels spontaneous rather than ceremonial. Nobody appears to be performing for a camera or waiting for applause. People simply notice when somebody's confused, stranded, or overwhelmed, and they step forward. That habit reflects something deeply American: the belief that a stranger can become part of the group before introductions are even finished. After several days, the old image begins to fall apart. The country described from afar as cold, chaotic, and dangerous starts feeling generous, funny, and unexpectedly personal. The highways may be enormous, the portions may require architectural planning, and the air conditioning may have its own weather system, but the people make the scale feel welcoming rather than intimidating. That is why some European fans begin joking that they no longer want to leave. Beneath the joke sits something sincere. They came for football, yet they discovered a country that treated them less like outsiders and more like guests who had arrived late to a very large family gathering. America won them over because ordinary people kept appearing at exactly the right moment. America controls summer European supporters arriving for the World Cup, may expect the football, the highways, and the stadium crowds to feel larger than life. What many of them probably do not expect is that America seems to have negotiated a private agreement with summer itself. Outside, cities such as Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and Miami can feel like someone left the oven door open across an entire metropolitan area. Then one sliding door opens and the temperature drops so quickly that a sweaty football jersey suddenly feels like poor financial planning.
I have found out why America is so great. And it is one thing and one thing only. Air conditioning. It is the greatest thing I have ever experienced. It is hotter than Satan's butt crack out here. But what makes it bearable is the air conditioning. I believe you need to add a verse to your national anthem that talks about air conditioning.
They have the craziest thing here in America. So it's blazing hot outside. But look at this. I'm going to step into this establishment and it's chilly.
The greatest trend on the internet right now, foreigners coming to America for the World Cup and realizing that they have been lied to because America kicks ass because of our air conditioning.
This is more than Americans enjoying cool air. Climate control has become part of the country's basic promise of comfort, especially across the South and Southwest, where summer heat shapes daily life for months. According to the US Energy Information Administration, roughly 88% of American households used air conditioning in 2020. The International Energy Agency has estimated that fewer than 1 in 5 European homes have cooling systems, although ownership varies greatly between southern countries such as Spain and northern countries such as Britain. That difference becomes obvious during a major summer tournament. In London, older brick homes were built to hold warmth through damp winters, which becomes slightly less charming when July decides to behave like Arizona. Parisian apartments often rely on shutters, fans, and the ancient European strategy of hoping the evening breeze remembers its appointment. Madrid is much better prepared for heat, yet many smaller businesses still use cooling more carefully because electricity costs and building design encourage restraint. American buildings approach the problem with considerably less diplomacy. Airports, hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, buses, and stadium lounges often keep the air moving with the confidence of a country that put astronauts on the moon and sees no reason to surrender a hotel lobby to humidity. A European visitor can walk through a Houston parking lot feeling gently roasted, then enter a grocery store where the dairy aisle appears to be governed by Alaska.
No. It's starting to scare me. Can I be honest?
I didn't know they don't have air conditioning in other places.
In England too. Like Brits are talking about air conditioning. I'm like,
yes, bro. I
thought y'all were like the 1.0 of us. Dude, we just evolved.
The habit quickly becomes addictive because it removes heat from the list of daily decisions. Visitors do not need to plan every meal around the coolest hour, search constantly for shade, or wonder whether tonight's hotel room comes with a fan strong enough to move one determined mosquito. The body relaxes, sleep improves, and an exhausting match day begins to feel manageable again. There is also something unmistakably American about treating comfort as something ordinary people should expect, rather than a luxury reserved for expensive spaces. The thermostat becomes a quiet piece of infrastructure, working in the background while families eat, travelers recover, and fans argue about referees without melting into their seats. After several weeks, returning home can require a small emotional adjustment. A European fan may once have considered air conditioning wasteful or excessive, yet now they are standing beside an open window in August, waiting for a breeze that has apparently missed its connecting flight in Chicago. America has introduced them to a dangerous idea. Perhaps summer should remain outdoors, where it belongs. The bottomless cup. Some European fans come to America prepared for 90 minutes of football, then discover that their soft drink appears ready to play extra time forever. They finish the first glass, place it on the table, and moments later, another full one arrives as casually as though the cup had repaired itself. In many American restaurants, the refill is so ordinary that nobody announces it, celebrates it, or presents a separate bill for the sequel. That small ritual reveals something visitors quickly grow attached to. American hospitality often expresses itself through abundance. A drink is rarely treated as a carefully measured privilege that must be protected until dessert. It is there to be enjoyed, replaced, topped up, and surrounded by enough ice to preserve a woolly mammoth until kickoff.
Let me grab your refill.
Oh no, I didn't order one. Oh, they're free. What do you mean free? Nothing's free.
Here they are.
Seriously?
Yeah. Free refills is just such a lovely thing to do.
It's a lovely little touch, and Europeans and people from other countries are finally realising this and how amazing it is, and they're posting it all over social media.
They're appreciating
Have
it
you
a lot.
guys been seeing these videos? 'Cause
I'm sure you
it's
have.
so funny to watch.
Tell me why I have only just found out that Americans get free refills when they go out for dinner. Yeah, literally go anywhere and you can get unlimited free drinks. This has never been a thing anywhere I have been in the UK, Europe.
For someone arriving from Paris, Berlin, or Amsterdam, this can feel like a minor economic miracle. Soft drinks in many European restaurants are commonly served in 250 or 330 milliliter bottles, and ordering another usually means paying for another. In France, unlimited self-service refills of sugary drinks were prohibited by law in 2017 as part of a public health effort. Germany takes beverages seriously enough that a second soda generally arrives with a second charge, while tap water may not automatically appear unless the customer asks. America approaches the table with a different personality. A standard 32-ounce drink holds about 946 milliliters, nearly a full liter before the server even begins discussing refills. 1 American gallon equals 3, 785 liters, which helps explain why Europeans sometimes stare at beverage containers as though the restaurant has issued them emergency water storage for a small household. Yet the appeal is larger than the amount of soda involved. Free refills remove one of those tiny calculations people make while traveling. Nobody has to ration the last third of a drink through an entire meal, guard it from thirsty friends, or decide whether another glass is worth the price of a train ticket back in Prague. The table feels relaxed because generosity has already been built into the service. That feeling becomes especially powerful during the World Cup, when supporters spend long summer days walking between transit stations, fan zones, restaurants, and stadium entrances. A cold refill becomes a small reset button after heat, noise, and several miles of enthusiastic wandering. The server returns with another glass before anyone needs to produce a speech, a coupon, or a convincing medical argument. Americans may barely notice this custom because it belongs to everyday life, but foreign visitors often remember it with surprising affection. The bottomless cup represents a country that prefers to give people a little more than they expected, then quietly asks whether they would like some more. That instinct appears in restaurant portions, roadside convenience, hotel ice machines, and the aunt at a family cookout who believes your plate looks empty despite containing half a chicken. After several weeks, the habit becomes difficult to surrender. Back home, a European fan may finish a small bottle, look hopefully toward the server, and suddenly remember that the American chapter has ended. The thirst is manageable, but the emotional adjustment may require another beverage. America never closes. It's nearly midnight after a World Cup match, everyone is hungry, one phone is down to 3%, and the hotel shuttle has vanished with the timing of a magician finishing his best trick. In many countries, that combination means accepting defeat and searching the bottom of a backpack for a crushed biscuit. In America, it often means finding the nearest glowing gas station sign and discovering that the night still has an entire customer service department. This is one of the country's most addictive freedoms. Everyday life continues long after ordinary business hours have ended. A convenience store beside an interstate can offer hot food, coffee, medicine, phone chargers, clean restrooms, bags of ice, and enough snack varieties to make a tired European wonder whether the building is a shop or a small republic with its own supply chain. According to the National Association of Convenience Stores, the United States had more than 152,000 convenience stores in 2024. That works out to roughly one location for every 2,200 residents, spread across cities, suburbs, rural highways, and towns where the football field may be easier to find than the town hall. This network feels especially valuable during the World Cup because several American stadiums sit beyond traditional downtown centers. Gillette Stadium is in Foxborough rather than central Boston, MetLife Stadium stands across the Hudson in New Jersey, and Levi's Stadium is located in Santa Clara, well south of San Francisco. European supporters are often familiar with a different rhythm. In Germany, Sunday trading laws mean that most regular shops close, with exceptions commonly made for airports, railway stations, bakeries, and gas stations. In Paris, visitors can find late-night stores, yet the neighborhood supermarket may still lower its shutters while dinner is only beginning elsewhere in the city. London offers plenty after dark, although missing the final train can turn a simple journey into a financial conversation with a taximeter. American convenience culture was shaped by distance, driving, and the practical understanding that people become hungry at highly inconvenient times. The result is a country where a traveler can leave a stadium after midnight, drive 20 miles and still purchase a sandwich, headache tablets, windshield fluid, and a lottery ticket from the same counter. That shopping list sounds as though 3 unrelated emergencies have formed a committee, yet nobody behind the register finds it unusual. The appeal goes deeper than staying open late. These places remove uncertainty from travel. A fan knows that another restroom, cold drink, charging cable, or cup of coffee will probably appear near the next highway exit. America's size becomes less intimidating because the road keeps providing small signs of civilization, usually beneath enough fluorescent lighting to guide a Boeing onto the parking lot. After several weeks, visitors stop planning every minor need hours in advance. They begin trusting that the country will remain available when plans collapse, trains are missed, or celebrations last longer than expected. That sense of freedom quietly changes the way a person travels, because midnight no longer feels like a deadline imposed by the entire city. Back home, the adjustment can be surprisingly painful. A fan may walk toward a closed shop at 10:30, press their face toward the dark glass, and remember the American gas station that would have sold them dinner, medicine, and a phone cable without asking why their life had become so poorly organized. Freedom has 4 lanes. For many European supporters, the first American road trip begins as transportation and quietly turns into the part of the World Cup they keep talking about. A match may be the official destination, yet the real discovery happens somewhere between 2 exits, with a paper cup in the holder, country music appearing without permission, and the horizon behaving as though it has nowhere else to be. The scale changes the mood almost immediately. According to the Federal Highway Administration, the United States has more than 4 million miles of public roads, including roughly 49,000 miles within the interstate highway system. Germany's Autobahn network covers about 13,000 kilometers, while the entire motorway system in Great Britain extends for only a little over 2,000 miles. Those European networks are highly developed, but America gives driving an entirely different canvas. A journey from London to Manchester takes a little over 4 hours in normal conditions and already feels like a proper trip. In Texas, that same amount of driving may simply move someone from one part of the state to another, with enough land still remaining to make the map look mildly sarcastic. Europeans often measure distance in countries crossed, while Americans may measure it in fuel stops, barbecue recommendations, and whether the next Buc-ee's is close enough to justify holding on. This spaciousness creates a feeling that becomes strangely addictive. The road does not force travelers into a tight schedule built around the final train or the last regional connection. They can leave earlier, stop beside a lake, change lunch plans, or follow a handwritten recommendation from someone at a gas station. The day belongs to the traveler rather than the timetable, which feels luxurious when every World Cup plan has already been arranged around kickoff times and security lines. American rest stops also understand that long-distance travel requires more than a vending machine containing one nervous sandwich. Major service plazas and roadside travel centers can offer hot meals, showers, clean restrooms, local souvenirs, rows of snacks, and parking areas large enough to hold several European village squares. The interstate may stretch for hundreds of miles, yet civilization keeps reappearing beside it with coffee, air conditioning, and a restroom sign glowing like a small national promise. This is where visitors begin understanding why the road trip occupies such a special place in American culture. Driving here represents more than getting somewhere efficiently. It offers privacy, independence, music chosen by the people inside the car, and the freedom to take an exit simply because a billboard promised the state's best peach pie. Whether that claim survives inspection is almost beside the point. The detour becomes part of the memory. European railways remain one of the continent's great strengths, especially in cities such as Paris, Amsterdam, and Zurich, where trains connect travelers quickly without requiring a steering wheel. America offers another kind of pleasure, the sense that the country reveals itself gradually through windshields, small towns, farm fields, mountain ranges, and diners that appear when everyone has become hungry at exactly the same time. By the end of the tournament, some visitors may realize they have become attached to the space between destinations. They came to watch football in famous stadiums, but America taught them that getting there could feel like its own adventure. Back home, a 2-hour drive may once again seem inconvenient, although part of them will remember an American highway, a full tank, and a horizon that kept inviting them farther. The party starts. Outside European supporters usually expect the matchday atmosphere to build inside pubs, train stations, and narrow streets leading toward the stadium. Around Wembley, the crowd often gathers along Olympic Way before flowing through the turnstiles, while in Dortmund, songs can roll through the city long before kickoff. America takes that same excitement, gives it a pickup truck, adds a grill, and parks the whole celebration outside. Tailgating turns a parking lot into something Europeans rarely associate with football culture, a temporary neighborhood built for one afternoon. Folding chairs appear, flags rise above truck beds, coolers open, cornhole boards land on the asphalt, and somebody begins cooking enough meat to make the smoke visible from the upper deck. The stadium is still locked, yet the day already feels fully alive. The scale helps explain why this tradition works so naturally here. MetLife Stadium, one of the 2026 World Cup venues, holds roughly 82,500 spectators and is surrounded by enormous parking areas designed for tens of thousands of vehicles. In many European cities, land that valuable would probably contain apartments, tram lines, 3 bakeries, and a cafe where the chairs are somehow already reserved. In America, it becomes room for a second event before the main one begins. What makes tailgating addictive is the feeling that supporters own the entire day rather than borrowing 90 minutes from it. Food tastes better when it is cooked beside the stadium, rival jerseys become conversation starters, and even waiting feels purposeful because everyone has already entered the shared mood of the match. This is American sports culture at its most confident and relaxed. Nobody needs a polished restaurant reservation or an official entertainment program. A folding table, a portable speaker, and one uncle who takes barbecue far too seriously can create an atmosphere large enough for strangers to remember years later. European fans may arrive believing the game begins with the opening whistle. After one American tailgate, they understand that kickoff is merely the moment everyone finally carries the party indoors. These European fans came to America expecting football, but many left carrying something deeper, memories of a country that welcomed them, surprised them, and made ordinary days feel bigger. Perhaps that is the real story of this World Cup. The matches will end, yet the warmth and generosity they found here will travel home with them. Which American moment would you want a foreign visitor to experience first? Share it below and subscribe for stories revealing America beyond the headlines.